Welcome to Confidently Visible. This is a podcast to help you move through visibility blocks such as fear, resistance, and overwhelm to put life-changing work out into the world and to grow your career or your business. I'm your host, Beck Sands. I am a visibility mentor, a certified life coach, and award-winning PR consultant, and I'm based in sunny Newcastle, Australia. Let me guide you to show up as your unique self, share your incredible work, and to grow your audience with more consistency, ease, and flow. Whether you're a consultant, an entrepreneur, a CEO, a coach, or a creative, this is the space to unlock your uniqueness, to grow your audience, to make a bigger impact, all while feeling good about being seen. The world needs to hear your message. Now let's get started. Hello, and welcome to episode 28 of the Confidently Visible podcast. I can't believe we're already at ep 28. It goes so quickly. Thank you so much for listening in. It's so amazing to have you here. Today, I'm going to chat through how visibility is service. And this is something I feel like I took a really long time to understand because in our society, and for me personally as well, I felt like visibility was just kind of only for you if you're a bit like up yourself, or, you know, if you're wanting to be self-promoting. And this was kind of like the feedback that I've gotten across my life from other people, really. Particularly in Australia, I think there's like that tall poppy syndrome where people kind of see someone else who's successful and they just want to pull them down. And so I think more and more this is completely irrelevant because I think people understand more and more, particularly professionals, that we actually do need to be visible in order to succeed. We need to share our work. We need to share our voice. And actually, when it comes down to it, visibility is service. Because if you think about it, you're not going to get very far if you're just standing up and promoting your work. Like if I was to jump on this podcast and go, oh, I've got a coaching package that I'd love you to purchase. Here's my website. You know, like that's like a sales pitch. I don't think anyone's going to be sitting there listening for very long if I was to just purely do that, right? And so instead, what am I doing? I'm actually caring about my listeners. I'm actually caring about my audience and what they need to hear and learn right now that will support them. And so can you see how visibility, even though, yes, visibility and putting myself out there and you know, having a podcast and having social media presence and all of the things that you do for marketing. Yes, absolutely. That benefits me and that helps me to grow my business. But I don't approach it from that lens because it's not just all about money. It's not just all about business. You know what I mean? Like I do this because I actually love to do it. I do this because I care. And I think that you can really feel that in people's personal brands when they're putting themselves out there because they're just trying to sell something or they're just being promoting. It's, you know, it's pretty obvious and people can like really identify that and switch off pretty quickly. It's kind of like, you know, when you see an ad I'm just going to use an old school example, but when you see an ad in a newspaper and you're like, oh, okay, that's an ad, you know, keep flicking, you know, it's just, that's kind of how it is. So we don't want to be doing that with our personal brands. It is all about service. It's all about thinking about it, what our audience is wanting to hear. Now, what I find we do when, instead of putting ourselves out there because we fear it's too self-promoting, is that we bury ourselves in busy work. I do this all the time. And in fact, today I did it before I had to record these podcasts. Like I love recording podcasts, but I still resist it because it is still putting myself out there. You know, it's still getting up and standing in front of a camera and sharing my thoughts and opinions and my content, right? And so even though I love to do it, I do it regularly. I love connecting with my audience. Like I already have my topics planned. All of those things I still resisted with busy work, and so I think this is such a thing that we all do, but it's all about understanding that, in fact, if I don't show up, then someone will not be able to benefit from the work that I'm sharing. Someone will miss out on maybe hearing a pivotal piece of information that could potentially change their life. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm possibly sharing life-changing stuff on this podcast. I don't know, hopefully, but, I feel like that's quite optimistic. But, I certainly have heard things and learnt things over the years from other people that have completely changed my life. I mean, even Marie Forleo doing B School, that was like back in 2014 or whenever I did it, that was absolutely a massive game changer for me because it opened up a world of possibility beyond the corporate world that I never knew existed. And for everyone who is new to this podcast, welcome. I actually started and stepped into my business full-time in 2019. And so, there was a lot of time before that doing things on the side of my corporate jobs. I feel like, with this kind of thing, you just want to think about who you're supporting and who you're helping. So let's talk about what I'm going to share in this podcast episode. So I'm going to share why visibility feels uncomfortable and why that's so normal, the real reason that you might be holding yourself back from being visible, why staying busy can actually be a form of self-protection, the difference between self-promotion and being of service, how visibility directly impacts your income, your opportunities, and your growth, why your personal brand is about perception and not perfection, how to start showing up before you're ready, and a simple way to reframe visibility so it feels aligned and not cringy. Okay, so here's a couple of shifts that you can use to help you to start to embrace visibility as a service rather than A, something that you have to do, or B, rather than like a cringeworthy look at me moment. So firstly, make it about the audience. So I shared a little bit about this earlier, but it's really about what they're going to learn from you and also just about how they're going to connect with you and how you can support them in some way with your teachings, with your trainings, with your content, with your learnings. Okay. So make it about them and not you. And that goes for the stage as well. So if you're doing speaking events, it's all about what the audience can get out of it. So when you shift the focus away from yourself, you're going to feel so much more confident rather than just focusing on, take it away from like focusing on how do I appear? What am I trying to say? And just think in terms of like, what is the audience or what is my listener or what is that, if you can even have one person in mind, what is that one person thinking about? What do they need to hear from me? Okay. So you'll feel a lot less intimidated and it's going to feel a lot less purposeful, a lot more so purposeful as well. Okay. The second thing you can do here is decide to be seen before you feel ready. Spoiler, you're never, ever going to feel ready. You're never going to feel ready for the next thing. You're not going to feel ready to do live video. You're not going to feel ready to do media stuff. You're not going to feel ready to post on social media. You're not going to feel ready to do a podcast interview. Like, it just doesn't happen. You just got to go. You got to prepare yourself as much as possible and then take action in alignment with where you're wanting to go. And it's not as scary once you do it, I promise. So action creates that confidence. So once you start to take the action, you're going to start to feel more confident and prove to yourself that you can do things that you set out to do. So the third tip here is to help you embrace visibility as a service is to just it's to start small but stay consistent. Start small, stay consistent. I, for example, have this podcast. I have this fortnightly. And the reason it's fortnightly and not weekly is because I knew that I wouldn't be able to be consistent with weekly podcasts given my workload. So I was absolutely just like, nope, I'm just going to do a fortnightly podcast, which is much more reasonable for me, as well as the fact that it's consistent. So I'm still putting content out there every fortnight consistently, but it's just half as much work essentially and half as much time spent than I would if I was doing it every single week. So ask yourself, how can you be consistent with it so that you can show up? Consistent is better than doing everything, more often, essentially. Okay, so I want to also share with you, so one of the reasons you might be holding back from being seen is because of trauma. Now, I speak about this a fair bit. I've got some medical PTSD. I've spoken about it on the podcast before. And that level of anxiety really held me back from being seen. And I used to really hate even speaking up in meetings when I was back in corporate many years ago. And so it's been a real learning curve for me to be visible. It's been a real learning curve for me to sort of embrace putting myself out there and speaking and being seen. And so I feel like there is a bit of work to be done there. So I think everyone has some level of trauma. Like we've all, got something that's happened to us in our lives because that's just life. And so obviously to varying degrees, but I think there is a healing journey there when it comes to visibility, because when you're building anything big and you're being visible for your work, all of your stuff will come up. And it doesn't matter if it's a career or a business. But along the journey, your limiting beliefs will come up, your any coping mechanisms, unhealthy coping mechanisms, they will come up. All of the things that can potentially become roadblocks will come up for you. And so getting through that, getting support and healing some of that trauma from your life, or even healing those limiting beliefs will start to support you. Okay, so the third thing is staying busy can actually be a form of self-protection. And so this is what I was sharing before. I just put this off until the end of the day because I was like, I've got other work to do. Hint, don't ever do that. Always do the hardest thing first or the biggest task first. It's just, it can be tricky because, this morning I had a physio appointment to start the morning. And so I was kind of like, okay, I'm running a bit late, so I'm just going to flip my day around, and rather than film in the morning, I will film in the afternoon, and then blah, blah, blah. But then it just kind of becomes a procrastination tool. And before you know it, it's 4 p.m. and you're like, I haven't done the thing yet. So I totally get it, but just identify and just acknowledge for yourself that being busy can be a form of self-protection, because, hey, if I'm busy, then I don't have to do the hard thing and put myself out there and get myself out of my comfort zone, right? And do the task that's actually going to move the needle forward. So think about that. Try and prioritize the hard thing first, and then do something fun that you absolutely love after it. So for example, I've got a friend coming over for dinner tonight. So I'm like, great, I'll film this and then I'll go do some food prep and then we'll have a lovely dinner. Okay, so, how can you start to implement things that make you feel good? Like, I haven't always had heaps of time to be able to do that. Obviously, if I was building on the side of a corporate job, there's less time. But even just something like going to have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee with a friend after you do something really hard, that's always really nice. So how can you kind of sandwich it? Do something nice for yourself before and after you do the hard thing, and schedule it in to be consistent. Okay. Schedule it in to be consistent. Now, the difference between self-promotion and being of service is very, very key. So obviously we're not going to be, getting out there. I mean, I'm sure some people do, but, getting out there and being like, here's what I have to sell. It's just, people are immediately like, oh, hang on, because they're not ready for that. You've got to kind of support them in some way before they're ready to purchase from you. Unless you're literally meeting someone for a new business meeting that has inquired about your services. And then you kind of go, yeah, okay, yes, here's my services. Let me tell you about them. But when it comes to content, personal brand building, visibility, what we want to do is warm up our audience as if we've never met them before. So you wouldn't just walk into a meeting room and go, hey, I'm Beck. Let me tell you about what I have to sell. I would be like, build the relationship first, right? And so think about that as doing that at scale through your personal brand, because you can do it on a much larger scale than you could of just meeting people one-on-one. Okay, so think about your personal brand as doing that. And the visibility is really just supporting them to solve a small problem, or even just speak to that problem. So what you want to do is like identify their problem so that they feel heard. They kind of go, oh yeah, like that's me. That's exactly what I do. Or that's me in a nutshell. And then all of a sudden you've created kind of this connection, right? And they feel understood, which is absolutely so, so important. And it's also, this is you being caring about other people. This is about empathy, really. It's about like understanding how other people are feeling, thinking about it, and then solving problems for them, or supporting at least to identify. And some people will never ever purchase your products and services. Like most people probably won't. And that's totally fine. Like I love being able to support people that will never ever purchase anything from me through my free content, because that's what it's there for, right? It's there to hopefully help people see a little bit what's possible and to learn something and hopefully get to the next level in their lives as well. So even if they never purchase from me, that's fine. It's like, this is kind of, the free content is a really lovely way to support people and give back. And then you will have the people that want to work with you. And that's brilliant. Okay. So there's that different layer of people that you're serving through your personal brand. And that is a beautiful thing. That's a really great thing. Okay. So visibility directly impacts your opportunities and growth and your revenue. And this is true whether you're in a career or if you're in a business. Now, how is this the case? Well, if people don't know about you, how can they know to work with you? So value is really about perception. Like there's a lot of people that can probably do the service that you provide, but basically the perception of value is, it's really about reputation. It's really about what people think of you, right? It's the same with anything. It's not just service providers. So if you think about it, like, let's talk about handbags as an example. A handbag, like I have some, like an Oriton handbag. I can't even remember what other brand of handbags, because handbags don't mean a lot to me. But like, it's like, okay, they're a nice handbag. But it's like, so for me, I don't have a hugely high perception of handbags. I'm not like, I absolutely need to have like the latest and best handbag. But someone else might. And so that $10,000 handbag that I will just walk straight past and go, nope, I'm going to go on holiday instead. Like someone else might go, that is such like that's a high value thing that I absolutely must have. So value means different things to different people. And so really what you're doing by building your personal brand and visibility is showcasing and sharing your value. And then the people that connect and resonate and really identify that value and can benefit from the service you provide will purchase. And the way that you communicate that is through your personal brand. Okay, so I just want to share, so how to start showing up before you feel ready. So one of the ways that you can do that is to, yes, plan, but then just give something a go. When I was building my personal brand to start, I used to hate doing video. Anything video, I was like, oh my God, I can't do it. Like I almost needed someone to bounce off to be able to have that kind of conversation. Otherwise it was like, oh, this is just awkward. And so, yeah, I was so awkward on video and I was just like, oh God. And so I was like reading off a script. I was like, okay. And this was just awkward. Like, anyway, I think I've removed some of those early videos from YouTube, but like, I didn't delete them, but I've just kind of like made them not public. Anyway, so if you really want to find them, you probably can. But anyway, so starting to shop before you feel ready. So what I did then was I went and did a live stream in my Facebook group and on Instagram every single Friday at midday. And so I was like, I put it in my calendar and I was like, I've got to do every single week. I've got to come up with a topic and then just riff on that for like 5 to 15, 20 minutes, right? And so if I didn't like the video, I was kind of like, that's fine. I can just like, I don't have to save it and upload it. I can just, that's it. I've done the live, it's job done. But I did, like I'd put it up and everything like that most of the time. And half the time, like, you know, maybe 1 or 2 people would show up and that was fine. It's kind of hard to get people to live streams anyway, but yeah, it was just the fact of showing up every single week. And I did this for like a year, maybe even 2. And then after that, honestly, I was able to do podcasts, video. Like it helped with like any interviews that I was doing. It just really helped on stage as well. Like it just really helped in terms of being able to riff and just have a few bullet point notes and then just be able to talk to camera, because that's a really valuable skill to have. It's one that you have to work on. I know I've got a few clients at the moment that are a little bit averse to video, but you know, it is one that you can work on and it does get easier over time. So I just recommend committing to like even a 3 to 5 minute live stream or something every single week at the same time and coming up with a topic and 3 bullet points in relation to the service you provide and what you feel like your ideal client is currently experiencing in terms of problems and how you can solve them. And then just do that every single week. You will get so much better, I promise. All right, so a simple way to reframe visibility so it feels aligned is literally the whole topic of this podcast. So it is just to think about visibility as a service. Think of it as supporting and helping others with your message, with your content. I think one of the hardest things is feeling like you're invisible when you're sharing, and like particularly when you're starting out, but even at every level, because you can always feel like you need more followers. So just think about it this way. Even if you have one person that engages with your content, that's so good. Like think about getting, one person in a room with you and having coffee with that one person. That's a person that is engaging with you, that is listening to your message, that is hearing what you have to say, that, is connecting with you. And so just think about it as if it's one person or if it's 1 million people, it's the same thing. So I'm going to say that again. If it's one person or if it's 1 million people, it's still the same thing. Still treat people the same. Still talk to people the same. It's exactly the same message. It's exactly the same way that you're delivering it. It's just multiplied. And if you take care of one, you take care of many. So if you can take care of that one person that's watching your live streams, that's engaging with your content, that's on your email list, take care of them as if that one person were 1 million, and you will go far if you do it consistently. So that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this little riff on visibility as service. And if you liked this episode, please do share it with your friend and leave it a rating and review so that we can get it into the ears of more listeners. Thanks for joining. Thank you so much for tuning in to Confidently Visible. I have loved being here with you today. I hope today's conversation inspired you to share your unique gifts with courage and to show up boldly and move through some of the visibility blocks that are holding you back. Now, if you loved this episode, I would love it if you could please leave a rating and review and share it with a friend who needs to hear this so that we can get this podcast into the ears of more listeners. If you're ready to become confidently visible for your career or your business, make sure that you head on over to becksands.com and sign up for my weekly newsletters where I share information, stories, and resources that I don't share anywhere else. Until next time, keep showing up as the amazing, unique you that the world needs.